Okay, let's try this again. Can anyone hear me? Is anything working? Okay. Had to restart. I'm hoping we won't be laggy. Okay. Do. Okay. Oh yeah, the overlay. That's not it. That can actually go. Okay, where is it? Ah, here it is. Okay. Right, so I guess there's no reason to not just get into the game. We'll be starting with Sassy versus Pigeon. Sassy repping Team Wolf against Pigeon Rush repping Team Badger. Okay, here we go. Squirrel Mole Falcon Skunk Snake Wolf against Squirrel Toad Ferret Snake Badger Mine. Okay, looks like we're good so far. Yeah, Zon knocked it out of the park with this overlay. It's great. Alright, so Sassy is the attacker. Pigeon has to defend, which means everyone who isn't a Badger on Team Badger wants Sassy to win this. He's got the snakes, so that's a good start of countering Badger. Snakes and Wolf. Lots of tier 2 with the Wolf, which you'd expect, and then Squirrel Mole just to have a solid early to mid game composition that, you know, is still useful even in the late game. Pigeon Rush, he's got the Squirrel Toad. Squirrel, you know, just standard unit. Always pretty useful. The Toads will help deal with the moles and the chameleons. Ferret Snake is an odd combo. They're both pokey units that get a lot of value over time but aren't so good in a straight fight. So Pigeon Rush is really going to have to rely on those big Toad hits to avoid getting overwhelmed by just regular amounts of tier 1. The Ferret and the Snakes do well against... They do quite well against tier 2 because they can deal a lot of damage to a single target. That also makes them quite weak against mass tier 1. In particular Squirrel Mole, because the moles take multiple snake shots to actually kill. And they throw off the ferret's targeting in a big way. Because the ferrets can kite the moles, but they can't kite the squirrels. Okay, the mines for Pigeon Rush. He doesn't have a mine in a particularly good place. He's only got 3 toads. It's usually not enough, but maybe if he micros them well. Okay, that's pretty good hits. Oh no, one of them doesn't go off. The mine does explode, but it doesn't kill much. And Sassy is now getting onto the Warrens. If Pigeon Rush can just hold on. He's lost 2 Warrens, but he's 2 farms ahead. He needs to be... He's got the forward Warrens, which is weaker against the mole push, but he's not even using them. He's coming out of the Warrens to fight, which is really working against him here. You want to keep your Warrens back in this meta because the moles, when they get onto the Warrens, are just so dangerous, and they stop you from being able to rebuild in time. But this is looking like a win for Marquis. I believe it's pronounced Marquis. I'm just going to call him Sassy though. Rush does have a problem with being greedy. It is a known issue that you can exploit. I know Rush, he's been around a bit. I don't know Sassy very well. Yeah, Rush is very greedy and he refuses to surrender. And he's also changed colour. Although, actually, I suppose I was doing that colour for the team. Yeah, I'll do it for Commander. Screw it, you can see what team they're on. They've got the unit in the deck. Alright, Lizard, Ferret, Cam, Snake, Badger, Machine Gun from Pigeon this time. And he's starting off with a Pigeon, with a Lizard Rush. But Sassy should be able to defend this. This is a decent lizard map with the multiple angles. It's a little tough for him to... I mean, it's a long way even for lizards to run, but lizards can take better advantage of it than any other unit. So it's possible Pigeon gets some lizard poke done. So far he's just ecoing up, which is going to put him at a disadvantage in army. Sassy could do a mole push, but looks like he's just going to go up to 8 farms himself. Pigeon has the machine guns to try and hold off an early push. They synergize alright with lizards. You've just got to make sure you keep your lizards in range of the turrets so that they can, you know, both fight at once. That's easier done with squirrels, but it's still doable with lizards. It's perfectly viable. Okay. I'd like to see Pigeon Rush come around here and pick off some of these farms, because the army is not in position. But Pigeon Rush is a really bad scouter. There's a lot of this map he hasn't seen, and he hasn't come into Sassy's territory either for a while. Like, if Sassy got a good scout off there, Pigeon doesn't know about this mill or how many farms are on it. Pigeon, if Sassy had gone for a tier 3, Pigeon wouldn't know. Like, there's a lot that you miss by not scouting. Well, Pigeon doesn't have a choice. He has to take Badger. That's his mandatory unit. I think it makes sense. I think Mass Lizard works pretty well with the Badger. You want to be able to chase down the snakes and falcons that counter it, and the fox that counters it. Although the fox you don't have to worry about in this matchup particularly. Yeah, you want Mass Lizard to chase down the Badger counters. Plus, they do an alright job of tanking for it simply because there's so many things to hit. It's hard to focus the Badger before the Badger can really rev up. He's got some chameleons for some big defense, big tanky, solid one-off units. And the ferrets, I don't really think he needs. Oh, he's just shy of scouting that tier 3. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Okay, this is interesting by Pigeon. Oh, if he just commits to this mill, he can probably get it. Sassy not at home to Micro's units. But he is going to counter push, and Pigeon is not using the mill tanking to his advantage. So Sassy clears that up very well. Pigeon needs to pull back. He needs to pull these ferrets back. Okay, Sassy's got a chance to just keep pushing here. Lizards aren't great at defense. The water will slow down Sassy though. And he might just want to wait for his wolf at this point anyway. It's only another 20 seconds. Less. Alright, Pigeon Rush has the better eco, so he just wants to keep on. He just needs to make Sassy stall once. Selling the ferret is, I suppose, the right call, but it means that whole ferret unit goes for nothing. The chameleon comes out and is getting some work done, clearing up a lot of this tier 1. Pigeon Rush is floating so much food. And here comes the wolf. I think Sassy is just going to be able to push through this. Wolf buff chameleons are ferocious, even if there's only one of them on 5 health. That was a good mill snipe by Pigeon, but he shouldn't have engaged out here. He needed to go back and regroup, gather his army together, because all he needed to do then was just hold on, and he would have won. He was really far ahead. Alright, so that's a 2-0 win for Sassy. No, wait, no, it's a best of 5, isn't it? Not a best of 3. Okay, so Pigeon has a chance to bring this back. Come on, Team Badger. Squirrel, Mole, Falcon, Cam, Snake, Wolf. I think Sassy's going with the same deck. And Pigeon with Lizard, Falcon, Cam, Badger, Mine, Machine Gun. A lot more defensive than previously. But still got the Lizards and the Cams. No Snake or Ferret this time. And Pigeon going for another Lizard attack, but his Lizard Warren is very far back. Sassy doesn't scout it though, which is good. At least not yet. Okay, the first Lizard is out before Sassy gets a chance to respond. That gives Pigeon Rush time to build a second one and get over. This could work if Pigeon plays it right. 2 Lizards is enough to pick off this corner pig. And they'll be over here really quickly, but Pigeon is burrowing back. And he sells. I mean, he's going to get up to 8 farms. No, he's actually going to get up to 8 farms last because Sassy spent less on units. I think that's a mistake. The early lizard is weak versus moles, but Pigeon had the timing down. He'd actually got the timing right. He could have got in and picked off this pig. If instead of burrowing there, he just rallied his units, he definitely could have picked off this pig. But pre-8 farms is a tricky area. I don't fully know what to do when I'm pre-8 farms, and I've been playing, and I've got over 1,000 hours in this game. And it's always very risky, because if you mess up your attack before you've got 8 farms, you basically guaranteed that you've lost the game. And if you're on match point like Pigeon is, that's probably a pretty nerve-wracking experience. Yeah, Zon's head is great. I mean, there's not much else I can really say about it. It's really, really good. I don't know how he managed to get the icons to appear when you type in the names. But I don't really understand any of it, so maybe it's actually really easy to do that. Okay, Pigeon Rush trying to put down some mines, but they get scouted. Sassy doesn't clear them very effectively. Well, he clears one. The other one he sends a mole into, but that's only one mole. It's 20 for 20, so at worst it's a even trade. Sassy floating a lot of food here. Putting down some tier 2. Both players going hard on eco. Pigeon scouting a lot more in this game, which is good. Doesn't manage to get in very far, but you know, he at least sees the second mill and the farms on it. Okay, Pigeon Rush going for his own chameleons as well. If Sassy's going to have his chameleons out first. If he pushes with 4 chameleons, he might be able to overwhelm this pure lizard comp. 4 chameleons does do very well against mass lizard. Okay, Sassy's got 16 farms and 4 chameleons. Pigeon Rush has a couple of mines and a machine gun to help him defend. He's also behind on farms at the moment. He's not scouted in a while. And these 2 lizards are just freaking out. They can't figure out how to get around the machine gun. Like, they can see where they want to stand, they just can't figure out that there's a wall in the way. Ah, now they got it. Okay, Sassy taking his 3rd expansion. Pigeon Rush doesn't need to expand to this mill, he can expand back here. But if he gives this one up for free, then Sassy can expand down here and onto this campfire and onto this campfire, which is going to give Sassy the late game advantage. But the advantage Pigeon has with these close mills is that he can start setting up machine guns very far forward and put pressure onto Sassy that way. He does have to worry about the snake poke, sorry. That's going to be tricky when the mills are this close together. But Pigeon Rush should be able to deal with that with just chasing them down with lizards. And Sassy hasn't got any snakes up yet. He is going for a wolf, and the wolf is nearly halfway built. I don't think Pigeon is going to be able to defend against that without a lot more defense, but so far he's just going for farms. He's got a machine gun down here, which, I mean, technically does block off a route. You can get through here around all these trees and come in. It'd be a very long-winded, slow route, but it is there. If Pigeon Rush goes for a badger now, he's going to be in real trouble because that's a big investment when Sassy is probably going to be attacking. Oh, and he does at least stop the scout. Okay, Pigeon going up for a full 8 farms. He's playing really greedy here. If he can just hold on, then he's in a good spot. But wolf buff cams are insanely powerful. Although his own chameleons plus the lizard ball is pushing it back. He needs to rally these falcons back or focus down the squirrels. He's only got one left. Don't overextend, Pigeon. You've got Team Badger riding on this game. Oh, the reinforcements for Sassy coming in. Pigeon Rush can't resupply. He needs to go back. He needs to sell. He needs to sell this badger. No, he sells the falcon. Then he sells the badger. Okay, 2 farms are down. Oh, and Pigeon gets the lizard. Gets the wolf. That's a big deal. If he can just keep on resupplying. If he can get rid of this last wave. Sassy is now starting to be supply blocked himself. But this falcon is causing him real damage. The falcon is finally down. It's just a few squirrels and moles left. He needs to keep this mill up. Otherwise, Sassy will take the lead again. And it looks like Pigeon Rush has just managed to hold on. Now Sassy's going to go back, probably sell the wolf. Or is he going to try and get a second one out? Okay, sells the wolf. Okay, so Sassy's going to have time to rebuild all his tier 2 and come in again. But Pigeon Rush is still ahead on economy. He's really far ahead on army right now as well. And he's going to counterattack. Okay. Pigeon can either just set up... Pigeon can either attack or just start setting up defenses. Either way, I think it's his game to lose from here. This greed is now starting to really pay off. Okay, he's going in. He's also got the forward machine gun, putting a lot of pressure onto these units, making it very hard for Sassy to defend this mill. And if this mill goes down, then Sassy's economy is just in the dumps. He does have 3 falcons up. Well, Pigeon Rush's army is mainly dead, but there's still so many lizards coming in that Sassy doesn't have an easy way to deal with. He needs to get some chameleons out, but he doesn't have time because Pigeon Rush is just rebuilding as we speak. Pigeon going for another farm is... This is still very greedy, but he's far enough ahead to get away with it. Okay, the machine gun goes down. If Sassy can keep up these falcons... There's just so many lizards to chase him down, though. Oh! Pigeon Rush doesn't quite kill the falcon there. He gets it on the... Oh! Does he not get it on the rebound? He doesn't get it on the rebound. Oh! Hang on. Hang on. Is Sassy got this? Is Sassy going to bring this back? Saving that falcon was huge. Not just because it saved 60 food when Sassy really can't afford to rebuild it, but because Pigeon Rush went back in to try and kill it and just lost his army. Took a really bad trade. Okay, Sassy is down to 1 campfire. And there's still a lot of lizards coming out. He's microing these falcons pretty well, but they need stuff to tank for them. Sassy is now in starvation. Despite taking some really good trades, he just does not have the economy to stay in this. And Pigeon Rush is gonna get a point on the board. That's a tough one. Alright. Squirrel Mole, Falcon Cam, Snake Wolf against Lizard Falcon, Cam Badger, Mine, Machine Gun. Same deck from both players. And Pigeon Rush has changed his colour yet again. I assume just to annoy me. Okay. Now, pretty fair base actually, for pretty fair map. Both players have an easy mill. And then the third and fourth are sort of in the middle, equidistant between them. It's not an obvious advantage here. I think it usually, when in doubt, give it to the guy with the high ground. Pigeon Rush has a more defensible location due to the water and the high ground, and also because it synergizes better with his defensive structures. But Sassy should be fine. Pigeon Rush is going to have to come through a tight choke point here, or come through the water over here. So Sassy's got his own defender's advantage. I'm surprised to see Sassy not take Toads when Pigeon Rush has been running Lizards so consistently, but maybe he'll do that next game, if we go to a next game. Okay, no aggression this time, just going at 8 farms, double tier 1. Okay, I've got 3 sets of replays, the free-for-all and a live game to do, as well as hopefully my own games versus Roman, who I should probably message right now. I mean, I've been trying to organise them. I assume that if he never comes back, then it means I instantly win. Okay. So both players just milling up. I might fast forward considering we've got a bit of a clock. We've got to start the free-for-all at 7. Both players ecoing up. 2 mines down here. I don't know if Sassy saw those. And we've got chameleons coming out from both players. Some falcons from Pigeon. Who's going to go for the tier 3 first? This feels like it's going to be a tier 3 game. So far, it's always been Sassy, though. Pigeon hasn't got a Badger out yet. But both players going up to 16 farms. Oh, we saw a tier 3, but he's just moving it slightly to the right. I guess it is more defendable there. There's more stuff surrounding it. Pigeon Rush is going to come in. He is going to get a scout off. Good scout as well. This is where Sassy really should have put his boar, his tier 3. Up on this high ground. Would have been a good place to hide it. But it's not the worst. Okay, Pigeon Rush is just going for a lot of falcons, a lot of chameleons. He's also floating a lot of food. He needs to put that food into something. More falcons, more cams. Oh, do we have an attack brewing? Sassy's got a pretty solid army. The wolf is about to come out, as well as an extra couple of snakes, which is going to really skyrocket his army value. But how are these mass cams going to do? As well as the fact that Sassy isn't here. Pigeon has picked a good moment. Sassy was not here to micro his army, so Pigeon Rush got a good start to the engagement, but now he's fighting on the Warrens against Wolf Buff Falcons and Wolf Buff Snakes. The good old-fashioned machine gun snakes. The mines don't really do much. And Pigeon Rush is just sending his units in one at a time. It's not working out well, and now Sassy is going in for the counterattack. Already got 3 farms down. Pigeon Rush still floating so much food. I don't think Pigeon Rush is going to be able to hold here. This is looking like GG for Team Badger. see if we can at least kill the wolf, get a moral victory. No, looks like the wolf is going to survive. And that's 3-1 for Sassy. He takes the game. We haven't done the free-for-all yet. Okay. We've got Doctor, Professor versus Sassy and Eel versus Kerper. I'm going to go on to Professor versus Sassy, which means I need to change some of these around, which is fortunately quite easy. Let's start the replay and I can figure out the overlay while they're playing. Because I need to find out what the weight is. 352. And it's Owl versus Wolf. $352. It is blue versus green, red. We've got a slight problem with Professor's logo, but whatever, it works. It's because it's made all the black transparent, so you can actually see behind the overlay. That means that if someone's got black in their avatar, that also goes transparent. It's like wearing a green shirt in front of a green screen. Oh, I got the colours wrong. You're red and you're blue. There we go. Okay, so Squirrel, Mole, Falcon, Cam, Snake, Wolf against Squirrel, Cam, Owl, Wire, Machine Gun, Artie. Sassy's sticking with the same deck. He knows it works. I like Isaac's deck. I gotta admit, it's quite similar to a deck I've run a few times, except, I mean, ideally you take skunks instead of chameleons, as they synergize better with defensive structures. But since skunks are banned, I think chameleons are a good second choice. Although snakes would actually be a serious consideration as well. Or falcons. Because they work well with the barbed wire, which is a defensive structure you're most guaranteed to get out. The chameleons have the problem of the barbed wire slows them down when they're trying to get to the front. But they are still, solid units. They pair up well with the machine gun. They can tank really well for it while the machine gun puts out a lot of damage. Isaac really needs to move his defensive line up though. He's got this machine gun back here, but it's not protecting anything at the moment. This is better, but Isaac needs to be here to guard. Luckily, the commander goes down, but Dr. Isaac doesn't get any advantage out of that if he's not there to micro. If neither player's microing, then no one gets an advantage. Okay, the chameleon isn't going to be able to handle this on its own. It's also stuck. The chameleon just stopped moving for some reason. But that's worked out in its favour. It had time to build up some reinforcements and has actually successfully pushed it back. Isaac needs to get some barbed wire up here to hold off these moles. but he's going for another farm. He is a farm behind, but this is quite risky. Although he apparently has the army advantage. Although part of that's going to be due to this machine gun, which he really wants to be closer, because this machine gun doesn't protect this mill. Okay, we've got another chameleon coming out, and there's only a few squirrels left. I think Professor can hold here. Okay, but now Sassy's getting his own chameleons out. Professor is going for another farm. He really... I think this is too greedy. Without some proper defensive structures, there's a... This machine gun might actually get up. It does get up briefly, but goes down just as fast. And now Doctor needs to go all in on defending this mill. But he's not going to manage it. And go. I got told they were the wrong colours before, and then I corrected them. Dr. Isaac is red. Sassy is blue. Oh, they're on the wrong sides. There we go. Figured it out just in time. Okay. 1 point for Sassy. Alright. Squirrel, Mole, Falcon, Cam, Snake, Wolf against Squirrel, Toad, Chameleon, Owl, Wire, Machine Gun. I'm guessing the Toad is just to hold off the Mole push a bit better. I think Isaac definitely could have held off if he'd put more emphasis on his defensive structures. You need to go for the defensive structures first and then be greedy, instead of being greedy and then going for the defensive structures. Well, you don't need to, but it's safer. It's safer to go defenses first and then to take extra farms than it is to go extra farms first and then defenses. Isaac is the attacker. I thought Isaac was the attacker. Hang on. Okay, Isaac is the attacker and Sassy is the defender. So yeah, I don't think I can swap around. I think we're just going to have to ignore the overlay icons. Yeah, so ignore the knife and shield. Isaac is the attacker. I don't think I can. Can I? No. The icons are stuck. Can I, like, get a picture of a knife? And, like... put it over? I don't think I can, because it's not Photoshop. Maybe I could if I knew what I was doing, but I don't. Nope, that didn't help. I think we're just gonna have to live with this. Also, I just fucked up the everything. I hope I didn't reveal anything embarrassing there. I forget that you can see my Google sometimes. Oh, alright, here we go. We got Owl coming up. And the wolf going down. Sassy has seen the owl. He's probably going to be able to hold with just Mass Cam Falcon. Eco is pretty even. Isaac is going to want to expand out to this mill though. Push out this defensive line over here. Sassy should be able to keep even on a third base. Oh, I know how I need to do it. Hang on, I think I can do this. But I'll do it after the game. Because Sassy is moving in. With a lot of chameleons, these toads just blowing up on all of them though. And Sassy has to retreat. He can't deal with a big squirrel ball without his chameleons. Oh, but this owl goes too far forward. Takes a lot of damage. Sassy might be able to pick it off here. If Sassy can get all the squirrels, then there's nothing on Isaac's side to shoot up. Alright, not great toad hits there. And the wolf buffed units are going to catch up with this owl. The owl's going to go down. And I think after that, Sassy's able to just roll over. A lot of his units are pretty weak. But he's going to burst through this mill very quickly. And Isaac goes straight into starvation. As well as getting a lot of his warrens destroyed. Now, if I move that and then we get a nice shield. Okay, that goes over there. The knife needs to move. The knife doesn't like moving. There we go. Perfect. Alright. I really hope Sassy doesn't win now, because otherwise that's going to be a lot of wasted effort. Who knows, maybe we'll need it for the Kerpa eel game. Hey, honestly, for an on-the-fly fix, I'm relatively pleased with that. Okay, same deck coming out from Sassy. Doctor going with dropping the toads and throwing in the balloons. I think that makes sense. Sassy's relying on a lot of tier 2. Balloons synergize well with the chameleons and the owl. Now, it's not the best map for Isaac. The mills he can take are very spread out, which is going to make it hard to set up a good defensive line. Whereas Sassy's got an easier time coming onto the hill. I need to know if we're going to do the... I think we're doing the free-for-all after this. I don't know if we're going to do the free-for-all or the last set of replays I've got. Because we're coming up to free-for-all time, but it could get postponed slightly. That's a gent problem. Right, lots of squirrels coming out for both players. Oh, we got a fight coming on. I was checking the overlay was alright. But Squirrel v Mole tends to beat Squirrel. And now Isaac is getting forced back, which is going to let Sassy take its expansion nice and safely. Okay, going to be hard to push through this little choke point here, especially with machine gun up. And Doctor has the greater number of squirrels for now. It's just he doesn't have a way to get through these moles quickly without the toads. I think he probably wants to maybe rush for an owl at this point. Like really turtle up here, because this base is very defendable. This base is a lot harder to defend. Okay, this is good. Some forward machine guns. You can sell the back one now. Isaac getting ahead on farms, which he needs to do because he's slightly behind. Sassy's going to play pretty greedy. No, he's going for a lot of moles. Ooh, this is dangerous. This many moles can go through machine guns very effectively. Isaac needs more. Needs balloons. Balloons do pretty well with moles, because the moles can't hit them. Well, the overlay had the wrong players marked as attacker and defenders, so I fixed it. Oh, Sassy. See, this is what I was saying. It's hard for Isaac to set up any one defensive line because his base is so wide. Sassy just walks around the defenses. His line gets spread very thin, but his moles get on the mill and are able to take it down almost instantly. And now Sassy can just ignore all these mills. He's not going to. He's going to go for them. He is going to chunk his way through, but it's taking a lot of units. It's a lot of blood. He does have the economy to afford it, though. It's going to be hard for Isaac to come back from this. He doesn't really have type of economy. He doesn't have enough eco to build more eco. He's trying to go for a wraparound base race, but that doesn't really work with squirrels. You need lizards to do that. Or, you know, a lot of time. And his units are all getting picked off and caught out. This is looking like GG. Did we desync? Isaac isn't moving. Ah, no, there he is. He's going for the mill. He's not gonna get it, but he tried. And Sassy's gonna take this. 3-0. Okay. Now, are we doing the free-for-all now, or the Eel versus Kerper game? No free-for-all. Either a replay or Legoman versus Marmu. Okay. Let's go to Eel versus Kerper then. What happened with the free-for-all? Which one's the attacker? Free-for-all. Okay, free-for-all's happening later. It's not happening. Okay. Let me get this set up then. Eel versus Kerper. Kerper is the defender. We got a way of 1120. This is a badger versus boar fight. Let's get the overlay up. And I think we're going to have to use the pictures again. No, they're on the right side this time. Are they? Kerper's blue. Eel's yellow. Eel's the attacker. Kerper's the defender. But they're on the wrong sides. Okay, yeah. Hang on. It's fine, we got this all ready to go. We got our fix. Okay. Eel with a mole there, putting it too close. not going to get any value out of that. It's going to lose 50 food. It's a big blow to the Team Badger. Okay. Squirrel Lizard, Falcon, Cam, Boar, Machine Gun against Squirrel Mole, Falcon, Snake, Badger, Balloon. No snakes in the anti-Badger deck, snakes in the anti-Boar deck. Eel's deck is kind of vanilla. Squirrel Mole, Falcon, Snake. I imagine one of those would be Skunk if they weren't banned. Balloons are a bit fancy. They'll do well against. They'll do all right against the Boar. They won't do too great though at synergizing with the Badger itself or anything else Eel's got really. But you know, they give a lot of vision and they do a lot of single target DPS. They'll snipe down Falcons and Chameleons pretty nicely. So we'll just have to see how it works. Well, maybe Zon can put in something to like swap the sword and shield around, but I'm pretty satisfied with my fix, to be honest. For now, at least. Okay, Kerper has built his chameleons, is maybe thinking about coming in. He's taking the mill closest to Eel, so he's positioning himself quite aggressively. He can, once he gets his territory, he can start putting machine guns up on the high ground here, and that'll be kind of dangerous for Eel. But Eel has an easy way to get high ground vision with his balloons. Okay, Kerper wants to come in. The snake is only just here. And, oh, this is a really good play by Kerper. Eel needs to split up his army, but he doesn't. And he doesn't defend either the pigs or the mill. So Eel's going to have to commit to a counterattack here. Okay, Eel's still got the army advantage. He needs to push with it though, and his moles are coming up in the rear. With 6 farms, he will still be able to do some resupplying. He needs to get some decent damage done here. Getting the Warrens is a good start. But these snakes will get overwhelmed by tier 1. They are getting forced back. Eel didn't get the damage he was looking for there. If he'd managed to get a farm or 2, that would have been perfect, but he only managed to get 1 Warren. He did manage to keep his tier 2 alive though, and he killed Kerper's entire army, so that is something. Now, he's still got the higher army, it's just I think Kerper's army is a better composition. The Squirrel Lizard works really well against just pure Squirrel and against Snake. Okay, Kerper gets another farm, loses his tier 2. And now with the farms following, Eel's not particularly far behind on eco. He can catch up from here. He's still ahead on army. He is... Eel has kept his snakes alive the entire game, which is quite impressive. Okay, here comes a third attack by Kerper. I think if Eel holds on here, he's got a chance to really turn this around, even though he's behind in eco. Keeping his snakes alive, keeping that 120 food value going is working out in a big way. But the lizards get a good engagement. If too much tier 1 survives, then Kerper's not going to be able to clear it up the tier 1 with his snakes. One of the snakes does go down. Kerper's rebuilding his chameleons. Eel needs another farm. Kerper's in starvation mode though. And he has no mill. Eel doesn't need another farm. Eel needs to hold on and... or maybe push. Or maybe he does need another farm. Kerper... honestly, if Eel just pushes, I don't think Kerper can hold him back. He's only got 5 lizards and 1 chameleon at the moment. But Eel's missing his chance. Eel just can get on the mill though. And if this mill goes down, then Kerper isn't going to be able to get a farm down. He needs to put a farm down now and sell it to reset the timer, but he can't sell it. So that's just 60 food gone. 60 for the mill and 60 for the farm. That's 120 food, which is a lot when you're in starvation mode. And he's not right back into it. So is Eel, but Eel's got more to sell. And Eel's got a full mill to work with. And he's also got farms down here. It's looking like Eel's actually going to take this game. Impressively, after that first attack, I really thought Kerper had it, but Eel, just constantly keeping his snakes alive, slowly whistled his way back into it. Okay, I need to go get some water, because it's very hot, and my throat is very dry. I'll be right back. Alright. Squirrel Lizard, Falcon Cam, Boar Machine Gun against Squirrel Mole, Falcon Snake, Badger Balloon. Neither player mixing up their decks yet. Define very hot? No. In like the low 30s, high 20s. I don't want a, oh, it's nothing compared to where I live kind of comment, because those are just fucking useless to all parties involved. Okay, we got some aggression coming in, and Kerper's going to pick off this pig. That's a really good start from him. Eel's on 4 farms, Kerper's on 6. Eel wasn't able to get up those squirrels in time. I'm curious why he didn't go for moles. And Kerper's coming back in. Eel has more squirrels. Ooh! He sells a warren. I was wondering if he was going to attack. He sells instead. Probably a legitimate choice. But Kerper wants to keep up this aggression. So Eel needs to go back and put his warrens back down. And because he's against lizards, not moles, he can put his warrens in the front. Like, forward warrens work well against squirrels and lizards. They don't work well against moles. If you aren't seeing moles from your opponents, you need to swap to putting your warrens in the front again. Yeah, that was what I was thinking. If you put down the moles to the lizard rush, you can get your units out faster, and then a mole plus the pigs are able to hold off the two lizards. But if you have to wait for the squirrels, you've got an extra 10 seconds to wait for the unit itself to build, and that means that you've only got the pigs when you need more. Kerper coming in with just a huge clump of lizards. The mole squirrel is gonna clear it up, but a farm does go down. Probably not worth it from Kerper's point of view, though. And Eel can actually push now. Lizards aren't good when they're behind on defense. But Kerper's getting more and more time to rally his units together. Kerper's got a long reinforcement distance. It looks like Eel's gonna hold his position here, and with an extra mole warren, this is looking good for Eel. If he can clear up another attack, or if he can just attack before Kerper has a chance to muster up his forces, he can get some real damage done. Mole Squirrel is so good at attacking into warrens, but it looks like Eel's getting forced ever so slightly back. It's really back and forth here. This long reinforcement distance is really making things difficult for Eel. But Kerper's forced to sell his squirrels. But speaking of squirrels, I don't think Eel has enough at the moment, and he has to go back. That was a bit of an overextension, but it's hard to blame him for trying it. Okay. The extra farm is probably going to start making a difference pretty soon. Eel's going to try and get his farm back up. Alright, and Kerper going for a Squizzard comp, which is pretty good at overrunning squirrels. Also pretty good at overrunning squirrel mold, especially because Eel needs some warrens like this which he can hide his units in. Lizards really struggle fighting over warrens. Now they did get the warren there, but as long as more than 3 units survived because of it, you're in a good place. You've made profit still. And I think Eel has made a profit there. He's also now a farm ahead. That doesn't tell the full story because this farm got destroyed twice, so this farm basically cost 180 food. But at the moment, Eel is making more money. Alright, Kerper expanding and going for a runaround. Eel needs to see this. He needs to burrow back. He's not burrowing back. You need to know if your opponent has loads of lizards and you don't see them at the base that they're coming in for a runaround. And Eel is not there to micro. What is Eel doing? Eel is just... well, he survives anyway, but Eel is over here, I think, trying to get up a second base in fear of a base race scenario, but like, that was really risky. If he hadn't been home, if he wasn't here to defend this, then it wouldn't matter that he got another base here because it was never going to come up in time. But Eel managed to win anyway. It's because Eel is the attacker. He is trying to make a sandwich out of Kerper. Alright. Eel is pushing in now again, and this time he has more units. And he has more eco. Kerper's down to just 1 farm. If Eel just destroyed the... Eel could just destroy the mill and Kerper would starve again, but instead he's going to go for the warrens. Not give Kerper a chance to rebuild. Again, I'm pretty surprised that Eel actually managed to survive that. I really thought he was done for. It seems to be the way this last 2 games have gone. Kerper takes an early advantage, and then Eel brings it back. Kerper just sort of keeps running headfirst into Eel, and eventually Eel is able to withstand those assaults and just whittle him down. Kerper is trying to break through a brick wall by bashing his head against it, and it just... the wall crumbles, the wall cracks, but it doesn't break. Alright, Kerper going with another aggressive Warren, but it's a Squirrel Warren this time, so probably not going to be able to get over here and really harass these farms. Okay, so Kerper has dropped the machine gun and has brought out the artillery. Only change he's made. I'm curious why he's done that, because I mean, that indicates to me that there's a game plan shift in Kerper's head. He hasn't started with an early lizard push. He must want to take this game longer if he's going for an artillery cannon rather than a machine gun. That's the only reason I can think of why you'd change. Kerper is going for his tier 2. It's not a great artillery map, unfortunately. If you are on Eel's side, it would be alright. You could put one in the middle here and you could cut off these 2 mills. But there'd still be a really easy way around it if you just came this way. You'd be able to poke at this mill without being in range. And it wouldn't do much against this one. You'd still leave your opponent able to get up to 3 or 4 mills. So we might actually see the tier 3s in this game. Eel getting up his snakes. We've seen what he can do with these snakes. They've kept him alive before. They might do it again. Alright, we got a tier 3. Kerper's going for the boar. Both players have scouted the other's economy. Kerper wants to come in. This is a good time to attack. He's got a much bigger army, and the moles is going to just help him increase that even more. But he's got his snakes on the front line. The snakes do well at cutting through those chameleons. This is looking really good for Eel. Kerper's forced to sell the boar. And 3 farms dead already. Now I won't say Kerper's done for, because we've seen Eel in the exact same situation bring it back, but it's just getting worse and worse as Eel takes down all 3 of these farms as well. That's 6 farms. And in 20 seconds, some of these farms are going to fallow, and it's going to be even worse. Kerper relying very heavily on the chameleons, not having the lizards up. Selling all his units. What's he going for? He's going to put it down a... He doesn't have moles. Is he just fucking with us? Okay, he hides this, and he's going for mass lizard. But Eel sees it coming. Has put up another couple of mills, and he's coming in anyway. He's not giving Kerper a chance to rebuild. Maybe if Kerper had been able to get up to that 33 lizards, we would have seen something magical happen, but we can't sneak that past Eel, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately for me. Go Team Badger. Team Badger is doing pretty well at the moment. Okay, apparently we're taking a 10-minute break. And then we'll do the free-for-all. Where's my break screen? Forget where I put it. I was in Paint 3D.